Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. Again, I am Kaylee Bateman, the Content Director at She Can Code, and today we are discussing crossing horizons, navigating tech through borders. I've got the incredible Ivana Kusic, a dedicated data engineer with me today, and she's going to share her inspiring journey of crossing borders both geographically and professionally. We're going to touch upon the nuances of emigrating, the hurdles faced in a new country, and the resilience required to overcome barriers in the ever-evolving tech landscape. Welcome, Ivana. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here with you guys today and share my story.
Wonderful. You have a brilliant story, so we're very lucky to have you here today to share that with us. Can we start with a little bit of background to set the scene for our ladies today? A little bit about you, who you are, and how you came to work in tech.
Yeah, sure. My name is Ivana, as you already mentioned. I am originally from Croatia. I would say that my journey started from Croatia. I got my first master's in finance, which was kind of like very different than what I'm doing right now. During that time, when I was pursuing my degree in finance, I got that incredible opportunity to participate in a couple of student exchange programs during the summertime, where I get to travel to United States. And with that being said, I was also both summers in New York City, and this is how the entire idea of me permanently moving into the United States came across. I will share more details as we go further into our conversation, but that's on a high level. So this is how I landed in New York City. I also always wanted to get that international education and broaden my horizons academically as well as professionally. And with that being said, this is how I ended up doing my master's in management and systems with concentration in database technologies at New York University. And this was, I would say, the moment when my journey in IT started. This is how I shifted from the financial or like business background that I had from before into IT. And upon completing my degree, I landed a job in corporate organization in insurance industry itself within the IT department, where I got to work on very exciting projects as a data engineer. And yeah, it has been a great journey for a couple of years as of now.
Incredible. We love it when we hear ladies that have a completely, not even a completely different background, but have a background where they can easily transition into tech and then bring all the wonderful skills that they learned previously and then bring them in and get an even better job in the tech sector. So we love that. And your story is a very bold story as well. It's a very inspiring story because you moved from Croatia to New York City. You said you'd been there a few times and you'd been back and forth, but what motivated you to make such a significant move when you decided to do that and move permanently?
Right. That's a great question. Thank you. So, as I mentioned, I got that incredible, like when I was pursuing my degree in finance, I was still a student in Croatia. At that time, I stumbled upon that great opportunity to participate in the student exchange program, where you get to travel in the United States during the summer. And then I kind of like immersed myself into a different culture, very vibrant, crazy New York City. Also, I was able to improve my English as well. And then kind of like at the end of the program, you always get that opportunity to travel across the United States as well, which was an incredible experience. So I've done that for 2 years, and then I completed my master's in finance back home. I got some work experience there as well, but then I kind of like that sparked my my desire to permanently move and see if I can extend and leverage on the international educational institutions as well, and get the masters from some of prestigious universities in the United States as well. idea was New York City or nowhere. That's kind of for me because yeah, New York City or Europe, that like nothing else. But then I stumbled upon a couple of prestigious universities here in the United States, and this is how entire journey started actually. This is where I decided that I will be moving in New York City permanently to kind of like broaden my horizons academically and professionally as well on the global scale. And this is like my first idea was getting an MBA, which was kind of like the first thought. Then I found out that I need to prepare for TOEFL, which was kind of like smooth. And also GMAT. GMAT was something that took me a while to prepare for, but while I was preparing for the GMAT, I was also doing my research on the program that is offered by NYU Stern Business School. I, at that point, wanted to immerse more into data analytics, like big data analytics, programming languages. Those were the buzzwords back then. So I was thinking that's something that I really see myself while preparing for the GMAT. I was also doing research, and I kind of realized that MBA might not be the right, like a right thing to do. And I also came across the NYU School of Professional Studies, which was offering that management and systems with concentration in database technologies master's degree within the STEM. And this is actually, I looked into their program. I was like, whoa, that's exactly what I would like to learn, where I see myself in my career going forward. Yep, I set up the call with the student representatives. Then I started to work on my application. That was also like, it took me a while to prepare application because it needed to be a very strong application because NYU is one of the top-notch universities in the United States just in general. So yeah, I did complete my application, I applied, and I was accepted. And definitely I would say from that moment, my journey into world of technology began, and shaping trajectory of my career and opening doors to endless opportunities. That's what I would like to highlight. Yep, that's pretty much it.
Amazing, incredible journey. And it's so interesting as well that you said it was New York City or nothing. What was it about New York City that really drew you to it? As you said previously, it is crazy. It is mad. Did you not get there and think, oh gosh, no?
Right. Yeah, I got that question a lot. So I would definitely say there is energy. Like the city is very vibrant, very diverse, a lot of like culturally very different, a lot of different backgrounds. You get to know a lot of different individuals, and I would definitely say diversity and different backgrounds and experiences are actually what is enhancing experience here. And it just at work as well, working with different people from different backgrounds, it's something that it's a great starting point for innovations and collaboration. So it's the craziness, vibrance of the energy of the city. It's everything that drives you, yep, makes you move every day and go that extra mile, and you know, in like pursuing your dreams and goals.
Yes, as they say about New York City, you definitely embrace that one. What
Yeah.
about studying in New York? How did you experience studying at NYU? How did that shape your career, particularly your specialization in management and systems?
Right, yep. So when it comes to NYU, that's the experience that I would cherish forever. Definitely, I would say my experience studying in NYU has profound impact on shaping my career path into the IT. Definitely, especially within management and systems, as I mentioned, big data technologies, data analytics, and system management. Also, one thing that I would like to highlight when it comes to NYU SPS, which is School of Professional Studies, it's tailored for the professionals that are already working. So we had those evening classes. So I get to work on the projects with people that are already coming from different industries. Those were industry professionals, and working with them definitely, as I mentioned, was bringing different perspectives and experiences on the table, and definitely enriched my experience of like getting that solid foundation and skill set that I needed to be successful in IT role, especially I was aiming data engineering. Throughout the coursework, also one very important thing that I would like to highlight is we always worked on hands-on projects. Whatever we worked on was pretty much right away applicable to the real world environment. So the code that I was writing, I was able to lock it on the GitHub. I built my portfolio off of it, which was great for me and helped me while I was interviewing because I had something to show. Even though I took it for granted, I was like, oh, nobody would bother about like school code. But then it happened to be very complex, and interviewers were impressed with the things that we were working on as a group of like usually a couple of members during different courses. So that's one thing that I would like to highlight. Also, another thing, all professors were also industry professionals. So they had 10, 15 or more years of experience. So not only that they were just teaching us, they were bringing the latest and the greatest trends from the market and sharing the insights with us, which is something also that enrich my experience at NYU. So I would definitely say overall, my experience at NYU equipped me with the skills, knowledge, and confidence to excel in my chosen field, which was data engineering within the IT.
Incredible.
So
And
it's great.
yeah, it's great to hear that you not only worked on real world projects, but your professors were professionals in their own right as well in the industry, because so many ladies say on this podcast, you know, they've been through university and there's still that jump from what they studied and when they get into work, and it's still that kind of baptism of fire, learning actually what it's like to work in the real world. But if you experience that throughout your course, then that must have been, you know, that kind of set you up ready for the workplace.
That was I was scared of that as well. I was like, how do I do that? I'm like, I landed my job at Chubb, which was like a huge corporate organization within the IT. My role was data engineer, which is kind of scary because it involves a lot of skill sets and a lot of knowledge that you need to have ahead all the time. So I was like, am I going to be able to perform in my role? But with that being said, and experiences that I got through that practical work at university, I was literally able to do my work within the first month since I joined the organization. So it was very practically orientated and very useful for you to start doing the real job right away when you join the real world outside of the university.
Yes, definitely. And so all of those things really helped you along the way, picking the right course with the right people that are going to be there to help you. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the challenges along the way as well, though. So what are some of the unique challenges you faced as an immigrant working in the tech sector and in the United States?
Right. Yep. So when it comes to the challenges, I would definitely say that in dynamic landscape of a United States tech sector, diversity thrives. So I would definitely say being international or being an immigrant here, look at it as an asset rather than an obstacle. And this was really something which I already highlighted before. People coming from different backgrounds would definitely bring different experiences, different cultural things on the table, and it would be a great environment for innovation and collaboration. So something I would definitely say, embrace it. Those are unique skills that you as an individual possess, and truly try to, leverage on them. One thing that I would highlight, but I would not go into details much of like a hurdle, like overcoming visa-related hurdles are something that usually international people or immigrants in United States are kind of like struggling with. And this is one of the things that I would like to highlight, but there are different ways of facing, and like you can always you have that support from your organization, but this is something that you always have to think of while you're in the United States. So that's one of the hurdles that I'm not going to go into details right now, but that's something that I would highlight as being a challenge for someone who is international in the United States.
Yes, definitely. I suppose it differs as well where you live and where you work, and as you said, who you work with. And you said when you first studied, you also got to travel a lot across America. Was that that's quite an eye-opener as well, isn't it? Traveling across even, you know, one country, but there's so many different walks of life in the States. I mean, that must have been a real bonus part of you know, in your studying.
That was a great experience, correct? Yep. That was kind of like when I first joined, like when I first came here for 2 summers, I get to travel across the America. So like I get to do the road trip on the West Coast, like get to see all those countries. I was also interested in like Texas and those like countries that are more like South. So great experiences. I was that annoying person saying, "Oh, I've seen that in movies." So definitely met a lot of people along the way. Had a great experience, and that also one of the things that sparked my like desire. I would like to come back and continue my journey here in the United States and see where it goes.
Yes, definitely. It sounds as well like you made a very informed decision before you permanently moved to the US. Sound like you'd experienced a lot, and it wasn't like a quick "I'm going to move to the US" decision. It sounds like you'd done a lot before you got there. And I wanted to ask you about obstacles and barriers. Could you share a specific obstacle or barrier that you encountered during your career journey, and how did you overcome it?
Okay, so let me think about it. Yep. So, so what I would say, like, my career journey in IT, like just career in IT, it's very rewarding, I would say, and it's like it's great if you are into like constant learning, and if you're on trajectory to enhance your skills, as we know that technology landscape is a very evolving field. So no major obstacles that I would highlight, but definitely I would say being a woman in a very male dominated field of IT, overcoming those type of challenges, I would definitely say how I overcome them. Like you need to always advocate for yourself. That's very important. Also seeking mentorship from supportive colleagues at work or like within the at the university. That's very, very important and crucial for you to be successful in career, because they're like especially at the beginning of your IT career, having a mentor in like from the leadership position, someone who has a couple of years of experience, it's a great thing for you in terms of like guiding you, and in terms of having someone that you can talk to and say, hey, I don't see myself. Because when we say IT, it's a broadened term. So sometimes if you join an organization as a data engineer, maybe you don't see yourself doing that job for years, so maybe you want to shift into data science or similar. So having someone who is your mentor and who you can talk to as your managers, or that can actually guide you and point you to the right direction, is very, very important. This is what I would say. And also just outside of the work and outside of the university, expanding your network and participating in network events, such as like there are so many meetups here in New York City that you can participate in, where women from same backgrounds, or like women from different backgrounds but like willing to succeed in IT are meeting. That's very also important to expand your network and network with people that are in similar fields. Something that I would definitely recommend, joining different associations, working maybe on some projects along the way with your work, or like coursework at the university. It's also very good to overcome those obstacles. Yep, it's rewarding, very rewarding once when you see that you can contribute, even though it's a very male dominated field. Yep. So some of the advices that I would definitely say. One thing I forgot to mention here is with that being said, I'm also part of the, I'm involved in the Chubb Women in Tech. This is the initiative that is dedicated to foster female leadership and as well nurturing tech talent. So this is one of the one of the examples how you can overcome some of the like barriers when it comes to that male dominated field when it comes to IT.
Amazing. And that's brilliant advice as well, finding a network, and a network that you can use to progress in your career, but also joining so you can give back and find ways to support other ladies that are coming through as well. I think I've had a lot of ladies on this podcast, when they have joined the tech industry, have not quite realized that there are lots of communities that you can join, and there are lots of other ladies out there that are feeling similar feelings that you have experienced in the workplace. And sometimes if you're in a company where there isn't somebody that you can reach out to, or another lady that you could reach out to as a mentor, for instance, there are lots of external networks and organizations that can help you with that. And it almost takes ladies a few years to realize and think, actually, I wish I'd known that from the start.
Yep. So that's something that I would always encourage. I know it sounds like cliche. We all know we need to network, but it's really it's very, very, very important. I wanted to highlight that even like outside of work and university, network, because there are so many different women out there, because we're now in Chic and Code podcast, so we're like focusing on female in IT domain. So I would definitely say network, and there are so many women out there doing the same thing, and some of them are struggling and not sure how to overcome those obstacles. So being part of community and contribute and being part of different associations definitely helps.
Definitely. Yes, I couldn't agree more. And for those that want to or are considering a career in the tech industry, do you have any advice for them, for anybody that wants to enter the tech industry, but they might be hesitant to pursue it due to barriers like language or cultural differences?
Right. So that's a very good question. So I would say my advice to individuals, particularly to women, because we're now on Chic and Code podcast, considering career in tech, I would definitely say like especially data analytics or data engineering, kind of like the domain that I am in. Despite facing barriers like language or cultural differences, is to embrace their unique perspectives and strength. That's very important. I would definitely say that that would not like having that culture or language barriers, definitely do not consider it that as being like to discourage you to pursue your passions. If it's hard, that I always like say that to myself, if it's hard and if it's challenging, that means that you're on the right path. Because like furthermore down the road, you will pick up your fruits, and they'll be even more sweeter. Definitely. So I encourage them to, again, leverage on resources and support networks within their tech community. Also to look for some sort of the mentorship programs or groups that can help them guide to get on the right path as well. It's very important once when you also join the organization, it's like mentorship thing is not done. Try to find someone who is in a leadership position, someone like where you see your like career going in that trajectory. Talk to that person and maybe seek mentorship from that person as well. That can definitely help you and give you some insights on how to achieve certain things in your career. Additionally, what is very important advice that I would like to give when you're choosing tech as an industry, like tech as your like industry that you want to thrive in, and any role that you pick up within the IT, it's very important to know that you always need to continue learning. It's continuous learning, and you always need to upskill yourself because it's ever evolving landscape of technology, and there are always new technologies out there every day. So even for me, I'm like, which way do I go? What do I like start like leveraging on first? Because every day there is a new tool out there. So you need to keep learning and like tailor kind of like the roadmap based on your particular role within the IT. Some of the fundamental skills are like programming languages that you need to know, or like for data engineering, like different clouds and stuff like that. So those are some fundamentals, but then different tools are coming up every day, and then like continuous learning is very important within the IT. And definitely what I already mentioned is being from a different background. Diversity is an asset rather than an obstacle. So your diverse background and experiences can definitely bring fresh insights and innovation to the field of IT. So embrace it. and just go with the flow.
Yes, I love that you pointed out, yes, it is an asset, not an obstacle. Being from, a different background and a diverse cultural background, and the differences that you bring is why a company, wanted to hire you, and all of the different viewpoints that you bring to a team. Definitely, that is always something to always remember and lean into when you're having those moments of imposter syndrome, as a lot of us have, that you were hired for a reason, because you are different. And I love the fact as well that you pointed out about continuous learning, and that is something that takes a certain type of person who wants to come into the tech industry and continually learn every day, and also figure out where you would like to go, as you said, where you want to go as well in the future, and where your career might take you if you're not trying to stay ahead of the curve and figuring out the new technologies that are released. How will you know where you want to progress as well, and which company that you might end up in the future? Who knows?
Yeah, that's very, very correct.
Looking back on your journey so far, what are the most proud, let me rephrase that.
No, go ahead, no issues.
The tongue-tied, cut that part out. Looking back on your journey so far, what are you most proud of accomplishing, and what goals do you have for the future?
Right. So let me think about it a little bit. So I am just going to summarize that very like on a high level. I'm going to be very short on that one. Definitely, I would say, like on a high level, my most proud accomplishment so far is like successfully transitioning from the top tier education in finance to becoming a data engineer, which is something completely different. And I was scared to that. I would say when I was doing that, I was like, am I going, like, before me just evolving into IT, I was kind of like scared of the black screen. So I'm like, how I'm going to be able to code, how I'm going to be able to do all those things. But then just like throwing myself into the fire and bridging that gap between business and technology, like starting my journey at NYU was something that I'm very proud of. And now I'm like successfully coding and executing my code with no issues whatsoever. But that was kind of like the scary, like the first step is always the scariest. So I would definitely say one advice that I would give to everyone: if you believe you can, you're already halfway there. So kind of like I was driven by that thought throughout my journey, and like throughout me shifting from like a business or a finance background into IT. So definitely that's one thing. Bridging that gap between business and technology with unique skill set that I gained throughout my experiences at NYU, and with being the part of the Chubb community for 3 years. That's something that I cherish as well. I would also say, as I joined like corporate world and IT claims department 3 years ago, I was also nominated for Global IT Employer Recognition last year, which like kind of like underscores my contributions within the IT claims department. So that was something that I was very proud of. That happened last year. And definitely to the second point to your question, where what are some of the goals for the future? I would definitely say, as I mentioned, enhance on my skills as a data engineer, because there is so much down the road for me that I need to immerse myself into and learn, as well as practically implement that in my work, everyday work. That's one of the goals for me. And then being able, something that is the greatest and the latest right now, it's like real data time processing. So that's something that I'm looking into. We also, as a team, we're working on a project where we are bringing data from on-prem to a cloud. And we're trying to do that in a real time as well. So those are some of the goals. We want to make that project as a great success for the organization. So on the high level, I would say those are some of the things that I'm looking forward into it further down the line.
Amazing. And because I was going to drop in there as well, if you were speaking to your younger self, what advice would you give your younger self? But I mean, you dropped in there, when you are really worried about something, it's just going for it and thinking that, if you want to do it, you're already halfway there anyway, so just do it. But what you did was very bold and daring, and to make a move. And I suppose so you made it you made a move to a country where they are quite the US is very encouraging and very sort of like, you know, you go for it and you live your dream, and if you can dream it, you can do it kind of attitude. So that must have been quite a nice environment to be around as well when you got there and thought, you know, I have made the right decision, and I'm going to move forward and pursue my dreams.
That's 100% correct. Yeah, as I mentioned like before, I would definitely say it's not only it's the environment as well. People that you surround yourself with, they are motivators for you to be even better, and to go that extra mile next day as well. So that's also something that I stumble upon various different individuals. Like I expand my network greatly within the IT here, at university as well as outside of the university, at work as well. So those are all great individuals you can learn a lot from, and those are the people that are motivating you to be your better self and push forward every day even more. So yeah, that's one great thing, one of the greatest things when it comes to New York City. It's a hub of individuals that are really unique, and with the great skill sets and knowledge that you can learn from a lot.
Yes, definitely. Ivana, we are already out of time. I could keep talking to you about your journey for another 3 hours on this subject. We must have you back at some point to hear how you have continued in your path and are still living out your dreams. So thank you so much today, though, for joining us and sharing your story. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a great 30 minutes talk to you. I enjoyed it, and yeah, definitely I'm looking forward to be back at some point of time to see how I progress in my career.
That would be wonderful. Our ladies would love that. And for everybody listening, as always, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again next time.